They call themselves the Nelk Boys.
In that moment, you know, when you were there and you saw them hit 1 mil, did you think that they would get to where they were today?
I knew it for sure.
Howie is the definition of Wi-Fi money. Ex-Nelk Boys manager, online competition pioneer, and deal broker for celebrities like Floyd Mayweather and many others.
Kyle was just he was dialed in. Like the wording of dialed in, the terminology of dialed in, that's what Kyle was.
Let me set the scene. We're in Miami having a party and a guy called Howie walks in. Of course, I went and introduced myself, and after talking, we found out that he in fact made Wi-Fi money. We whipped out the microphones and recorded an impromptu episode for you guys. A little lesson for anyone listening to this podcast, just ask the question. We really hope you enjoy this episode. I'm recording it at 1 a.m. after a night on the Happy Dads.
Big boys, further movement to the world. Making money off my iPhone, yeah, every day I network.
Okay, guys, welcome back to Wi-Fi Money. We have actually an amazing, spontaneous guest with us, which is like pretty crazy. Normally we plan these a little bit, and we met our guest about 10 minutes ago. He came to meet someone else that was here, and he's on the podcast because he told us what he did, and we thought, well, that's Wi-Fi Money.
And not just Wi-Fi money.
Not just
mainly
Wi-Fi money. And I'll tell you all about our guest. His name's Howie. He's a serial entrepreneur, digital marketing connoisseur, and an absolute boss businessman. Fingers in all the pies. Howie, baby.
Let's go.
I appreciate it.
Thanks for coming, Howie. I mean, you didn't come. You just arrived.
Yeah.
And now
I'm here.
Now you got a mic in your face.
Now you got the mic in your face. So realistically, like, we're also learning about the guest, you know, with the listeners, because normally we do a bit of research. Like we've got questions like to ask about your life that's specific to you, and we're just gonna flow this one.
Yeah, no, this is just off the hop, so
Like,
just winging it.
I feel like we've only like scratched the surface.
Yeah.
And I've got like so many questions built up that I wanted to ask you that I just had to save.
Perfect. No, that's good.
I love that. And also, Howie, we have a bit of a format on this podcast.
Okay.
Our listeners will know by now. I'm going to explain it to you now because you've just come here. So we're going to have a little chat wherever the conversation goes. But every now and then I'm going to go ask you different questions about a potential position in your current business or something that you're going to start.
Yeah.
So I'll say, for example, your dream business partner, and you can give me that. I might ask you your dream influencer to represent your company. There's no budget. They're going to do it for you, and they're going to back your business. Who would you pick? Okay. And then we do finish it off with a couple of other ones, okay, other positions. So bear that in mind. It might pop up. All 100%. Right. Perfect. So Jack, tell us the burning questions you have for Howie.
So my first question is: so you're from Canada?
Correct.
Tell me more. How did you grow up? Like, where did you live? What kind of neighborhood did you live in?
What
sports did you? I felt like you played sports.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Go on.
So I'm from Canada, Ontario, Canada. So in Canada's provinces versus states in the States. So it's our province here, Ontario. Small town, Peterborough, Ontario. We got about, I wouldn't call it small, but like 100,000 people in the city. So it's about like, for the listeners, it's about like hour and a half east of Toronto is where I'm located. So when I travel, I say Toronto because most people don't know small little Peterborough. Yep. But there's a Peterborough in the UK.
There is a
Peterborough.
I
was just thinking of that.
I live about an hour from there.
Yeah.
1 hour drive from Peterborough.
Yeah.
So, anyway, you grew up.
Yeah, grew up in a small town. I obviously played hockey growing up. Played like a little bit of lacrosse, but nothing major at all.
Did you play hockey like tournaments?
Yeah. I played for my city. Only AA. Just played AA. AAA is like the big thing back home. Like if you play AAA, you're like cool, you know.
Okay. All right.
What's like the ranking on that? Like what's A, AA?
So there's like single.
Batteries.
Yeah, there's like single A, and then there's AA and AAA. Right. Okay. So like AAA is like what you would play and essentially to be able to get drafted to the junior league. Okay. And then from the junior leagues, which we call the Ontario Hockey League, you then get the opportunity to go to the NHL, which is obviously the National Hockey League.
Sick.
Yeah. So that's kind of like the way going there. But I never went that route. Didn't have the talent to get that route, but for the time being and for the rest of the time, Wi-Fi Money is where it's at. So that's why I'm excited to get on the podcast. I grew up in a small town. I actually went to college in London, not London, England.
Why
London.
are you?
I know. Right. So there's Peterborough, there's London. We just steal your names. honestly,
he's kind of there. He was kind of there.
London. This college called Fanshawe College. I did business marketing.
What's London like in Canada?
London is by far, shout out London, Ontario. London, Ontario is by far the wildest city in all of Canada for the student demographic during the months of September all the way up until April. It is insane.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So but other than that, like the city, I think they have like around 300,000. So it's like 3 times the size of my hometown. I honestly just wanted to get away from my hometown. I love my hometown in Peterborough, but I want to get as far away as possible and experience like living on my own and kind of getting into business marketing there. Funny enough though, I honestly didn't even finish college. Like I don't have like any like, authentic certificate of background of education that way.
Why didn't you finish?
This is kind of how I got into down the road too. Is
Perfect.
I got into just the promoter lifestyle, the clubs and stuff.
Okay.
And I had a passion for that. I really wanted to start like booking DJs and trying to manage DJs, and it didn't go that route, but it kind of like got me out of my shell from high school to college. Like going to the clubs, dancing.
So how old were you?
I
Like,
was
when you started this?
I took a year off of high school. Like after high school, I took a year off. So I was 19 when I went to college, but some people are like 17 or 18 when they go to college, right?
Okay.
So I was like legal to go to the bars like right away. And then some people obviously 18 had fakes, or people are of age to go to the bar.
Yeah.
So from there, I just like was just always networking, very chatty person, just very outgoing and, enthusiastic and not afraid to get a no or, looking for a yes. But it was a fun time, and I just decided that I wanted to actually stay an extra year there. So one of my courses, I kind of just like let it go. I was like, okay, I don't really care if I fail this course. I think it was like stats too, funny enough, because now I'm all about insights and demographics and that kind of stuff. But I just kind of like let the course just slide, and I was like, I'm just gonna go back this new year. I love London so much. I want to go back again. Yeah. I'll finish that course, maybe take some bird courses, as we would call it, kind of like some just easy courses you just drift by on, and then finish my education. But I ended up actually moving to Ottawa after I was in college, and my ex at the time, she was working there, and I wanted to move there, and I got into sales. And that's honestly was the starting point of completely, changing around.
Game changer.
My life. Absolutely. In the sense of like it changed you. Like sales, I think, is one of the most, if not the most important thing to learn in business.
100% agree.
And I did door to door, so I sold product door to door. It was furnaces actually, so it was door to door furnaces. I eventually learned not to really agree with the whole industry.
When you say furnaces,
furnaces are what we call furnaces are like they heat the homes.
I know.
Furnaces, air conditioners, and furnaces, right?
Okay.
So the industry is actually kind of known to be like a little scummy. You can't even do door to door anymore, right? But when I entered, I had no clue. I just got told, hey, it's kind of like the Wolf of Wall Street. It was like, hey, there's this much money to be made. I was like 20 years old at the time, was making a ton of money. And my dad, actually, I come from a military background with my father, my grandfather. I didn't serve, but they did serve. So it's a very old school, like, ethical,
the morals get passed down.
So my dad told me one time, he's like, I don't understand how you're making this money. Like you got like something's up. And I was like, no, I'm just really good at sales, because I was young. I was like, I was doing good. And I looked into it, and I just didn't agree with the industry. Without saying any names of companies that work for anything or people like that, I just didn't agree with it.
How come you didn't agree with it?
So, for example, like a furnace in...
so are we talking about heaters?
Yes, heaters. Yeah. So,
cool.
So a furnace in your house, you would... I mean, like, I don't want to get called out on the show here, but it's like between who you know and your labor costs, it's about $2,000 to $4,000 to put a furnace in your house. Okay. But the company that we were working for, we would knock doors and essentially sign them on a program where it was like a rent to own. Okay. But they would put a lien on the person's house, and they'd be paying $100 a month for 120 months.
Oh, okay.
So you're thinking to yourself, like, they're paying $12,000 plus, like, plus at the end of it all, and they could have got it for, let's even just say at the worst case, $5,000.
Can you remember your furnace sales pitch? Is it still in the head?
Because they could have gone and got a mortgage and paid like.
Can you kind of remember what you said?
No, I do. Yeah,
Can you give me some?
Yeah. So I'd knock the door. I'd be like, "Hey, how's it going today, sir?" It'd be pretty good. Be like, "Hey, no need to worry. I'm not here to sell you anything. We've actually just been recently dispatched to the postal code here, which is like the zip code, like the area of the streets. Been recently dispatched to your postal code, just making sure that the heating and cooling units are all up to tact, right? So that was like a little turn off right there as you learned it, because it's like. I don't think you were really supposed to be saying that.
You're probing.
It was just probing a way of people being like, oh, what's up happening here,
right? Trying to find a pain point.
Exactly, right? And then you would get inside the home, you would check out the furnace, but the people who selling the furnaces really didn't know a lot about the mechanics of the furnace itself.
Yeah. It was about
to an extent. It was sales, right? Yeah. And then they would kind of like we would run people through like the numbers. And yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it wasn't illegal in any kind of way.
No.
It was just sales, and it just I didn't agree with it after like 4 or 5 months of working there. I just didn't agree with it. I got out of it, and I just said, if I can't stand behind what I'm actually selling, and if I'm not comfortable selling, and if I can't, like, if something's stressing me out at night, I'm not going to sell that product. Or even when it comes to Wi-Fi money on the online world, like, if I'm at the point now, we'll get later, but I'm at the point now where it's like, I don't work with people unless I want to work with those people.
You pick and choose.
I want to pick and choose who I work with, because I want to be comfortable with them. I want to take pride in what they take pride in the sense of their own work.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
So after sales, I kind of just, I honestly, this is where the real story starts. And
Before you say it, can I ask one thing?
Yeah, of course.
We just talked about, because we have to stick to my format.
Go. Here's the question.
Okay, but and it was just about that. So yeah, we talked about pick and choosing who we work with.
Yeah.
You know, relationships, like you want to trust someone, you want to make sure they're on the same mindset as you. So the first position that you're going to fulfill, okay, it could be a business that you run right now. It could be a brand new business that you start tomorrow. It could be anyone dead or alive. It could be a family member, celebrity. It could be a friend, anyone you want. Okay, this position you need to fulfill right now is your business partner.
Business partner.
We're working together every day.
Every day.
You know, pinned on your WhatsApp at the top.
Yeah, you're working together as a team, 50-50, baby.
Okay.
And it's not like anything you're doing at the moment. It's this brand new business, but it's going to be
it could be
your
brand new.
It's going to be your
weather. It could be weather.
It's going to be your main.
Like you can even pick your current business partner if you want to. It's anything.
I mean, if it's, I mean, honestly, if it comes down to, I got to go back to just with it being, I think sales is just so important, right? Like I feel like if you have a good sales team, you can, and marketing is very important too, depending on the industry. But I think sales is just so important in almost every single industry, unless it's like, you know, a trades industry, you know, but that's still important because you got to sell the products, right? I would honestly stay at the same time, once again, within sales, and just going back on that, I would say Jordan Belfort. You know, he did what he did, but he was very good at it, and he kind of got out of it, and now he's teaching people how to sell more ethically, and just overall, like straight line persuasion, how to get from point A to point B the fastest way possible.
I feel like that's who you would pick.
And that's why I would pick him, because people always ask me, because I preach Jordan to a lot of people, and people are like, what about Grant Cardone? Or, you know, you know, what about, you know, all those kind of like, you know, Brad Lee or like Aaron Elliott. And the thing is Jordan, I don't think Jordan can honestly be beat when it comes to, if you had a sales
Have you heard the podcast of Jordan Belfort and Grant Cardone?
I have, and I was about to go to that.
Yeah.
And Jordan,
I haven't heard that.
Okay, so Jordan's the host.
Okay.
I think it's the Wolf's Den is his podcast, and it was really interesting, the psychology of almost two been there, done it, head to head.
It was very interesting.
Did they have like little disagreements?
To be honest with you, you will agree with me, considering you picked him as your business partner. But Grant Cardone did not come off well at all. Very defensive, very I know it all, very conflict between the two, and Jordan was just like kind of listening to it. And I mean, what was your take on it when you listened to it?
I mean, they definitely come from different worlds, right? Like Grant's more like real estate, and Jordan's more like I feel uneducated, not even knowing the world, but more like direct sales, you know. And Grant's more like investments and real estate portfolio.
Yeah.
So it was intriguing to listen to it. But when it came down to it, I think because of the format of how the Wolf's Den is, it's more about like direct sales, and that's why I say like no one really can beat him on direct sales. I mean, like, you know, Jordan can sell ice to an Eskimo, water to a boat, you know, like exactly, sell me this pen, right? Everyone goes back to that. But that's kind of, I definitely seen that Jordan won that sales battle for sure. Yeah, and I remember when that came out because it was a big thing. People were like, that's when Grant was really like, he always pumps out content. Yeah, he's great with that stuff.
But he's done the Secret Billionaire as well.
And he was, and then all of a sudden it came out because Jordan started to get more of an online presence, right? And yeah, I think Jordan took the cake, but that would be my ideal starting business partner.
100%.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, so we're talking about business. We're talking about someone that was your dream business partner. Now we need to know what you actually do now. You know, really dive into as much as you can tell us. You are a serial entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You've told me that you're going to use your Wi-Fi money and invest it into other things, which is very, very interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, what are you up to?
Yeah, so it really, like I mentioned to you, I started off with what I told you originally here. I kind of got into the internet world because for any of the viewers watching, there's a movie called Camp Rock. I'm sure I've seen
I love
Camp
that.
Rock,
I love that
right?
movie.
Jonas
It's
Brothers,
like a-
Demi
yeah, it's like a
Lovato,
Disney movie, right?
Yeah. So my buddy Jeremiah, shout out Jer, he actually brought me to work at the camp. It's actually a private boys camp. It's about an hour and a half north of where I'm from in Peterborough.
Okay.
And but Camp Rock was filmed there though, right? So it's iconic because Camp Rock was filmed there, and it's a very prestigious camp. And I was just a dish boy there. Like I was just like washing dishes, right? So he got me the job in the summertime. It was like free food, free living, actually pretty decent pay, you know, comparable to minimum wage in Canada at the time. And we would just like, you know, we would just work and we'd go watch TV, play some video games back then. And he was big on like he would just binge watch YouTube.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just binge watch it. And he came across a video which was the Nelk Boys. And it's when their pranks were really just starting to like just hit it really, really big. And he was like on me about, you know, he's like, you should reach out to these guys. Like, you're just really starting to kind of like try to get into the world of, you know, Instagram and this stuff, and YouTube's so big. And so I just like really took a message online and I copy and pasted it to the Nelk Boys Instagram page, to Kyle, to Jesse. And I think I like probably put it out like 6 or 7 times to each of them.
Nice.
Right. And like almost a week went by.
What, like different like email, Twitter?
No. Like I literally just like, it was just copy and paste. It was like cold DMing.
Yeah,
But,
right?
like-
Same
Message every time, right?
Did
So,
you like unsend the other one?
No. I kept it up.
I
right?
love it.
And maybe that's why I got to where it was though, because all of a sudden I think it was like maybe like 5-6 days later, Kyle responded. And he's like, "Hey man, like, you know, I'm sorry I didn't see the message, you know, but you know, obviously they get so many messages, even when they were smaller, right? They weren't small, but they're good.
DMs must be fucked.
Yeah, DMs probably flooded still back then.
Back then, like if you're that big, you would check them. Like it was because it's exciting.
Yeah. So he messaged me. He's like, you know, I'm interested in what you're saying because I essentially pitched them on booking them a tour, like because like obviously like, you know, artists, DJs, rappers, they tour from city to city, you know, in September because September's when all the students are back.
Yeah.
So I said, hey man, like, you know, I know a lot of like club owners and bar owners, you know, across Ontario. I have a background in promotion and like in the event space and coordination, and I'm trying to get into the online world. And I said, I'd like to book you guys a tour where the daytime you'd have a meet and greet, meet all your fans, and then in the nighttime we would get a party going. So I would make sure that they would take care of your bottle service. They would get you, you know, to the place, you know, from the place to the place.
Were you like the Nelk Boys OG like trip planner essentially?
Yeah, so I was definitely the OG.
Like, were they doing trips before that?
No, they were. Oh no, because
They
like
were just pranking.
Maybe
but when they were my trip manager, what you're talking about is like they were traveling all across North America, mainly the States a lot, and that's how they built themselves. They weren't making a lot of money at all, if nothing. You know, they're investing their own time and money from their own jobs beforehand with Jesse and Kyle and Lucas back then, right? And they would just travel with 902, 4 of them or 3 of them. They would travel mainly to LA and different places, and they would do pranks, right? And that's how they got big. But then when I got into the bunch with them when it was about, they were at 1 million. They were about to hit 1 million subscribers. I was with them when they hit 1 million subscribers on YouTube. And same with Instagram when they hit 1 million there. And
just to interrupt, in that moment, you know, when you were there and you saw them hit 1 mil, did you think that they would get to where they were today?
I knew it for sure.
You can just tell, can't you?
Honestly, the guys are geniuses. Jesse is a absolute genius.
I love Jesse.
When it comes to branding, I mean, genius are overall, but Jesse was very into the branding, the design, right? You know, I would say the marketing within like...
He's an artist.
He's an artist, right?
Yeah.
And I love what he's doing with Sunday and Bloody Sunday and everything with that too, but he was more into that. And then Kyle was just he was dialed in. Like the wording of dialed in, the terminology of dialed in, that's what Kyle was. Like he was so
he's got like
focused.
A vicious workflow.
He's a visionary. He sees ahead. He wants to schedule it out, plan it out. He has, you know, background within editing and filming. You know, he's a genius. They're both amazing guys, and they both have an amazing work ethic. So when I started working with them, we did the tour. It was a blast, you can imagine. Mm-hmm. You know, we would meet the fans during the day. We would party with the fans during the night. I would end up going to the next place, like during some of the nights, and go to the next place and set up the morning stuff, so that they just can come there, set up, meet, and then party again.
Class.
And it was like it was like 7-8 days straight, right? And
they're like they're meeting fans, partying, partying.
And the one thing I really want to do in this podcast is I really want to talk about like the ups and downs of life as an entrepreneur. Because when you're on Instagram, and I'm sure the viewers will agree with this, and if anyone's viewing who's an entrepreneur themselves, no matter what state you are, within your journey, is that Instagram is a resume, and a lot of times you only see the wins.
Yeah.
And people don't want to talk about the losses.
It's all good. It's all good.
But I think that talking about your losses is very important, because with me, I was big on, it sounds a little cheesy, but you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And I was always very big on just going, right? So in that sense, when we finished up, I want to say that like I didn't really get to continue with them on their journey when they went to LA.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget this. And this was like a learning thing for me, is because as you can imagine, I was like 24 at the time. It was you were living life. These guys were blowing up. These guys were, gods in Canada when it came to the party scene. Right?
Everyone
wanted to be a Nelk Boy.
They?
They still are. But everyone wanted to be Nelk Boy so bad, right?
Yeah.
I kind of fell into that realm where it's like, even though I was on the management core side of things, I wanted to be a part of the party. Like sometimes I'd be getting too like crunked with the guys, and I was just a little off, like to be able to focus on work during the tour, right? Sure.
Like the energy is just so strong.
It's hard not to try to want to be a part of it,
especially when you're 24.
Like literally, you're up in your prime now almost, right? So it's
they got that addictive vibe.
Yeah. So Kyle told me that. I'll never forget when Kyle told me that, and I thanked him. Still to this day when I'll talk to him once in a blue moon, or like now that I live down here, hopefully I'll see them more often. But it was more so that he said, you need to really focus on the management side of things. So that really helped me out on my journey till today.
Visionary.
Because I was like, you know what? I'll never let that happen again, where it's like I was more focused on being the creator or more so being a part of the group of it versus the business side back end of it. Because every creator, every influencer, YouTuber, whatever it may be, you need a team behind you. And that team behind you needs to focus on their job, because you're the creator and you're there to create.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
So after that, they moved up to LA. They were in the cloud house of FaZe Banks and all them, right? And I just said, you know what? I seen them make money on their phone, and I was like, there's a way to make money online. I want to do this, right? And I wasn't at the point where I was like, I want to do this for the rest of my life. I was intrigued.
Was Steve there at that point?
Steve just got signed when I was like near the end of me leaving, or more so like them going out their way and me going this way. Steve was just getting there. Steve was like getting signed.
Steve will do it.
Yeah. Super great guy too. Never got to meet him though. Talked to him a couple times on the phone, but super humble guy. You can see how much he gives away. And he's just an authentic, genuine guy. So it'd be cool to meet him later on down the road too.
I really, you said you don't see what happens behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. I really want to see what happened behind the scenes when he drank that whole bottle of whiskey.
Oh,
I think he's done that a couple times, hasn't he? Just chugged a bottle or something.
Dozens of times.
That's great.
That's how he blew up. Like that's how Kyle found him. Kyle was like, this guy's crazy. And we're like big partiers, so we have to we have to get to be a part of this.
He was the full send.
Yes, literally though.
So this leads me sort of really the next position actually.
Oh, great.
Really nicely because we talk about Steve will do it. He chugged the whiskey and the Nelk Boys found him. He's like, this guy stands out. He's leading the way. He pops. So something about him, right? Mm-hmm. So the next position in your business. It was going to be normally it's the salesperson is next.
Oh, but I picked Jordan.
We picked Jordan. So Jordan's going to be salesperson / business partner.
Yeah.
So we can go to the next one. The next one is your brand ambassador, your influencer, someone that will represent your brand. Okay, like I said, it could be a new business, but I'm going to give you 50 million. Okay, but the only thing you can do with this 50 million is give it to someone to represent your brand. Okay, so the only way you can spend the money.
They're going to live, laugh, love
pick
your
wisely
brand.
Because they're going to say yes for 50 million.
Yeah.
So honestly, like this one's a little tough because being from a background of branding and marketing, you really kind of got to base it on your product.
Yeah.
Like 100%, and your demographics.
But if let's just say it's like the most general product.
Okay.
Like.
If it's a general product.
The most powerful person that you can think of that you could bring them into like any kind of projects and it's going to do well at least.
Yeah, they're going to they're going to sell this well.
Yeah, honestly, I would, and this, I don't know I don't know why, and I apologize if this person sees it, honestly. I don't know why this just pops in my head, because I've worked with so many different influencers and different types of celebrities and athletes. But I would say Mr. Beast.
Yeah.
Fair.
And the reason I would say Mr. Beast is
well,
because...
he does tune in, so he will...
The reason I say Mr. Beast is when you use the word powerful and you intercept that within marketing of like demographics and numbers and reach and conversions.
He's a smart guy.
He's a smart guy. He's got a background within that branding, within that marketing and advertising, but his creative is huge, and his numbers he pulls is massive.
Yeah.
You know, I just had a conversation. Maybe that's why it popped in my head. I just had a conversation a couple of days ago. I forget who it was I was talking with, so I apologize. But like, he's at like over 200 million subscribers.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like something crazy.
He's fighting the Indian Bollywood channel, I think it is.
Oh yes, I did actually recently. Yeah.
Like, they're actually really close.
It's crazy.
He challenged him to a boxing match.
Oh,
the owner
that's
of
what I've seen. That's what I've seen. Yeah.
But
so I'd say Mr. Beast.
I listened to a podcast recently with his manager.
Yeah, I think Mr. Beast manager.
Yeah, I think it was Strike It Big. Like, they're insane. They're insane. They're just machines.
Yeah,
machines.
100%. Yeah,
and
it just gets bigger and bigger and better and stronger. And
and you would usually think like maybe something like the Kardashians or McGregor, or like those names that are so like big on the scene right now. When you see these big brand deals going through, like back in the day, like Dan Bilzerian, that kind of stuff. But like Mr. Beast is just like, he was doing it for so long. He's been so powerful for so long, and he doesn't have
legacy.
He's very brand friendly.
Yeah, he is. Like, he's very family friendly, brand friendly, right?
And his legacy is going to live on forever.
Exactly. So
especially with the younger generations, like, it's not really showing with people like your age, for example, or even you're kind of the same age.
Like you said that, like
my generation, is fucking huge.
Exactly. So like, for instance, I'm 29. I actually turn 30 next month, right? Gemini season. Shout out to the Geminis. Hey. Gemini. Man behind the camera, Gemini. There you go. But Mr. Beast and like, everyone always thinks like Mr. Beast is like a younger demographic, right? Yeah. Because he was. But you gotta remember, it's the same thing with the Nelk Boys, right? Like, they were that like 15 to 20-year-old demographic pretty heavily when they started really pumping.
And then they all grew up.
And then all of them grow up. Yeah. So these Mr. Beast fans have been around for years.
For sure. Yeah.
I've known Mr. Beast, but I've known of Mr. Beast watching his stuff for like 10 plus years.
From when he was like smashing laptops.
Like, literally though, right? So everyone grows up.
For sure.
He still has the younger demographic, but he has the older demographic.
No, didn't he read like that's actually, I know a few YouTubers, and they've told me and been honest with me, and that like they have gone downhill, and they said, look, my subscribers grew up, and I didn't know what kind of content to keep up with them. I couldn't work it out, and it didn't work, and that's why Mr. Beast is where he's at, because he covers it all. They grow up, they still like it. They're old, they still like it. The older people, the younger people.
And his content is just so like, not to be negative saying generalized, but it's like, wow, like, you're doing this giveaway. You're smashing this thing up. You're giving away this kind of money to do this kind of thing. And and a lot more like kind of like more game show stuff now.
Yeah, for sure.
I was just going to ask that. You see the announcement you just did? He now is, I'm pretty sure I can't be quotable on this right now, but I'm pretty sure he is starting the number one in the sense of the most money ever given away on a game show. And I think the Squid Games was 4.5 or 4 million, which was on Netflix.
Okay.
He's doing $5 million.
That's fucking crazy.
So it's a brand new game show coming out.
That's crazy.
So it's going to be
like
on
an
his
actual
YouTube
game show.
It's going to be on his YouTube channel or Netflix.
I feel like he might have struck a deal with something.
He might have done a deal,
yeah, I think he might have struck a deal
everyone
with
would want to strike a deal with him, right?
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah.
So someone struck a deal with him.
I mean,
he's got networks.
But is he going to, is he going into mainstream TV? Because when he did the Squid Games thing, I believe it was,
because he did do that. I forgot about that.
The cash prize, the Squid Game thing that he did, the cash prize was funded by some game on the iPhone, right?
Of course.
So I do feel like someone's come in right for the cash prize. Okay, we're going to make the biggest cash prize. Is he going to go into mainstream TV, or is he going to keep on YouTube?
I have a really interesting question, and I've never put the time in to figure it out, and I wonder if you guys know. You just saying about the games, right? Like that game, like what are the big ones? The one with the dragon eggs, what's the one Mr. Beast promotes all the time? Dragon City, something like that. But
what kind of game is it?
I don't know. It's like an iPhone game with Dragon. But my question is, how do they afford to pay him that much money? Like, are they seriously getting a return of, say, like 500K?
Is it a real money gaming?
What's that, sorry?
Is it real money gaming? Like, are people paying to play the game? Can you win money in the game?
Well, I think it's free to play, and then you can, like, buy stuff.
Just because of that right there.
Yeah.
If you remember, it's like if Mr. Beast, well, it's probably some like crazy, very wealthy investors that combine together, or someone that's just rich.
Yeah.
And they're just like,
okay, why not?
And they probably thought, I mean,
they probably like Mr. Beast.
They probably thought.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah. The last thing was obviously me picking my brand endorsement.
Yeah.
So Mr. Beast, I think it'd be great to do within that. And then where were we? So finish up with the Nelk Boys.
Yep.
And I was mentioning earlier that I was saying that it's important to talk about your losses, right?
Yeah.
So I wasn't like making any kind of like good money when I was with Nelk. It was more of the experience and network. And they still paid me, of course. Right?
Yeah,
It wasn't anything like crazy.
Yeah.
Because they weren't like that big to be able to just fund a bunch of employees.
You were having fun as well, right?
I was having time.
You were spending it on more drink and crazy stuff, right?
Well, when you're with those guys,
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
No, when you're with those guys, you don't have to pay for drinks.
Yeah.
Like they don't even pay for drinks. You know what I mean? Like it's just here's the drinks.
They probably get paid to drink.
Oh, quite. That's what they were doing. They were getting paid. Like I made sure they got paid for when they showed up.
They never had a Corona brand sponsorship, did they?
They didn't.
They tried.
Can I just say something?
I love that.
I don't like to, try and make myself look too cool.
Okay.
But Howie doesn't know who I am, so I'm not a guy. But in the UK, I did a show called Love Island.
Oh no way!
Yeah. Okay, this is 5 years ago now.
Yeah.
So I had a little experience I did a Sandbird tour.
Okay.
And I
Is this
what you've told me about?
Yeah, I'm sure I've told you. Yeah, for sure. So it's very similar. I would turn up and there would be people like queuing. It was Sandbird on the door. You're gonna have take your photo with him, and I'd get paid, I don't know, in dollars, $2,500 for the evening. Take some photos, obviously free drinks. My friends came along all the time, and came in. They enjoyed that lifestyle.
Yeah.
And I did that so I did the meet and greet stuff for maybe like 6 months, and then it started to get a bit awkward because it's not like Nelk Boys where you're constantly uploading content like YouTube, right? Love Island, you're on quite a big TV channel. Yeah. But once you're off it just starts to slowly fade away. Yeah. So I have to decide, okay, am I going to be that guy that's going to try and do more YouTube or more TV shows? Wasn't sure.
But you made use of the followers you gained.
I definitely made use of it. Monetized it. I definitely made use of it. And then what I did halfway through the tour, I felt a bit awkward taking photos of people. It was just strange to me, and I felt like I'm not doing anything. So I learned how to DJ.
Oh, okay.
That was my thing.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I love the tour, but I felt uncomfortable going. I felt anxiety. Yep. That I was going to go there and people were going to take photos with me. I was like, I want to do something.
Be doing something. That's smart.
I love the tour aspect of it. I love the money and I love the drinks and the fun. But I would get really bad anxiety going there just to take a photo and feeling bad about it.
Yeah.
Learn how to DJ. By the way, it's not that hard. It's really not that hard. Once you get your beat match in, and I went on tour for another 2 years after that. I still do it to this day.
No way.
Yeah. So in the summers, I go to Greece and DJ as still Sandbird from Love Island.
That's
5 years later.
Still killing
5 years later.
Still running with it there.
It's just like a side little thing for fun. In the summer only.
No, it's good you went into DJ route too. It's kind of isn't James Kennedy from something, and then he started DJing?
Vanderpump Rules.
Vanderpump Rules, yeah.
Yeah, and he's British as well.
Yeah.
So that was my little tour aspect. And then obviously, you being, I had a tour manager as well.
Yeah.
He took me around and set everything up.
Made sure to take care of, the Airbnbs, the hotels, the alcohol, the parties.
Yeah, that's what we did. And it's perfect. And you did that. You parted ways.
Yeah.
And everything snowballed and things happened. And
so that's what I was going to mention this is kind of where I got into my losses because, like I said, I wanted to make money off my phone. I seen that they were making money online.
Yeah.
And after that, I essentially I'm going to say for about 2 to 3 years, I was in a headspace in my life where I didn't want to work a 9 to 5. I was against it. I wasn't against the thought or the people that already work 9 to 5s.
It's hard, I don't want it.
It was just I didn't. And it's not that I didn't want to listen to people or work for people. I wanted to build something for myself.
You wanted to create something.
To create something. And to create something that maybe down the road pass along to my kids or my family or build something so great that I could, cover my kids' tuition when they go to college, university. You know, I can pamper my wife, and you know, I can take each other on family vacations. Like this is like the old school head setup where I was raised with my father, right? It's funny too because like when I got into this part of my life, I was couch surfing for about 2 to 3 years. I was trying different promo stuff, trying to, you know, create different apps, you know, any kind of idea that I would try to run with it. And I would try I would try and do it in different cities, and during the time in different cities, I would just crash my friends' couches, right? And or spare rooms.
How was that? Did you find it like tiring?
It was tiring, and you know, it was you know, not to be depressing, but it was just dark at times because you were like, you know, is this ever going to work? 2.5-3 years of just like trying and failing and trying and failing and trying and failing. But from that, you really learn who your people are. Like I love my parents, you know, I love my mom, I love my dad, and everyone, you know, around that's, you know, family. But there was a time where like literally, you know, my mom, my dad really weren't supportive of what I was doing at that specific time in my life. Yeah. They were like, you know, get a job. Like, what are you going to do? How are you going to pay for benefits and, you know, pension plans and retirement? And I couldn't really say much to them because I wasn't succeeding yet. Right?
You didn't know what
I didn't know what I was doing yet. I didn't know what it was. And back in small towns, it's like, you know, you work a 9 to 5, you save up, you have kids, you buy a house, you retire.
Yeah.
Somewhat in that order.
If you're not doing that, people are kind of like confused.
They wonder.
They're curious. Or
they hate on you.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, oh, it's not real. The amount of times people tell me my job isn't a real job. And growing up at that point, it was like, you know, I wasn't too sure what I was doing. But then I started working at a gym. I started working at a gym, and I was like annoying guy that would call you and be like, hey, you know, because like let's say one of your buddies go to the gym and they put like numbers and names down to like enter for a free membership or get some free protein or something like that. And then like the people who work at the gym, like myself when I was there, I would like have to go through that bin of people and then call the people, be like, hey, your friend Jason actually, you know, left your number here. Would you be interested in signing up for a you know, a gym membership?
Was that commission based?
No, it was like more bonus structure, but it was just hourly wage. That's all it was, right? And but during that time, I was really starting to enter the advertisement aspect of online. Okay. So what I was doing during that time is I actually sat down in my mom's basement. And it's so funny to say because like when you're like playing video games as a young kid, you always chirp the kids online and like, you know, nag at the kids or nag at the old guys online, being like, oh, you must live on your mom's basement, this and that, right? But at that time in my life, I was like, you know, 26, 27. And I returned back home to my mom, and I was living in her basement. I had like a nice little room down there, so it was good. And I literally for 3 months straight, and I will say this, like for those 3 months straight of me doing what I'm about to tell you I did, it still is what got me here today. Just that 3 months of straight grind is the reason. Or a very heavy percentage.
You need the dark to see the light.
Exactly.
I love what you're preaching because a lot of people just see the light and they don't understand what the dark is.
Exactly. Yeah. So the 3 months, what I did is I literally sat down and I compiled a list of influencers, models, celebrities, athletes, meme pages, entertainment pages, any kind of page on Instagram, and I would just DM them all. I'd say, how much for promo? Money sign. And this is like some free sauce for anyone out there that want to make some money online. I just said, how much for promo? Money sign. And like, because on Instagram, when you message people, you can only write so much before you just see ... Yeah. Right? So just straight to the point, how much for promo? Money sign. And after like, you know, a couple of weeks, people would start responding. And they'd be like, oh, well, what are you looking to do? I'd say, this is before Instagram had the link available. So
at this point, did you have something to promote?
Nothing.
You were just building a catalog.
Nothing. Beauty.
Oh yeah, we got some White Claws coming in.
Unreal. So I was building as you would say a catalog, right? It's just a big Excel spreadsheet. So I would categorize it within a list of models, influencers, celebrities, athletes, meme pages, entertainment pages, and then I would list it from most followers to least amount of followers. Highest cost for a 24-hour main feed. How much it would cost for a 24-hour story post. And then back in the day, if you had over 10,000 followers, you could do a swipe up on Instagram. Okay. Now everyone can put a link on their story. But back then you could do a swipe up. So we would make swipe up be more like for people to buy off people, because it's leading them to direct return on their investments, right? So from there, and then also link in bio, right? So I would just basically build this list. I think I had like...
And then go to companies.
Yeah, I think I had like just over 57 million followers combined at the time, right?
Yeah.
And I would literally then go and then start cold DMing companies. And I would say, or I'd say, do you want to do major influencer marketing? And I'd just copy and paste a message, something like that, right? Yeah. And then they would start reading the messages and be like, oh, like who, right? And then coming from that not old school, but like from that sales background of like direct and on the phone, knocking your door and that kind of stuff, I would do it a different way, because a lot of the young guys online now, they'll just do everything through the DMs. And I still do a lot of this stuff with the DMs. But back then, I would they'd be like, oh yeah, who do you have? And I'd be like, okay, like, you know, I have anyone ranging from this amount of followers to this amount of followers. What day works best for you next week? Does X day works best for you?
Set the meat.
And are you more of an afternoon or an evening person? Because now they can't answer yes or no to this, right?
Dude, this is
I like that.
I
like that.
I haven't done that one. I haven't thought of that.
If you can position, there's wording for it. So I apologize for my sales turners back in the day right now, but there's wording for this, and I think it's like an open-ended question.
Yeah.
Right. So you can't answer yes or no.
Correct.
Right? And that's the way to do it. So I would set up these meetings.
You have to pick one of.
Yeah. Exactly.
So many things.
Exactly.
Are you an evening or an afternoon?
Yeah.
You can't say no.
No. What are you gonna say? No. It doesn't make any sense.
Do you want to go for pizza? Do you want to go for McDonald's?
That's
right?
very interesting.
So I would do that, and then I would get them on calls, and I would run them through what I'm looking to do with them, and some big names that I have access to. And what I was doing is I was making a 10 to 15% commission off bringing the deal to the influencer, and I was charging a 10 or 15% broker fee to the clientele for bringing the influencer to them.
So you would actually connect them together.
And
you wouldn't middleman it. You would directly connect them.
I was just connecting them together, and also I would help kind of like.
Was it like a group chat?
No.
Okay.
They never got direct access.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
That's how you cut the middleman. You know, back then, I didn't have like a strong relationship with everyone.
Yeah.
So I could have got cut out so easily. If
It was
that's
right? What I was asking.
So
right?
So they just seen I had a good relationship with them. And then I just kind of like did really good work. I made sure that the influencers were always getting paid on time. That the clientele that was paying the influencers got the script out to me. I made sure to tell the influencers what they had to say, position it in a way, get samples, send it over, get approval. Like I was very dot my I's and cross my T's when I was doing that.
What were your biggest problems with that? So like, for example, you said you always made sure they were paid on time. Somebody who says that has had fucking problems with paying people on time. Not that you didn't, but
I guess never was me. It's just sometimes clients, they'll say they'll pay X amount of dollars, and the influencer, and it goes back and forth. But one problem I will say that I did have, and you know what? There's going to be people watching this podcast, and they're going to know what I'm talking about. They're not going to know what I'm talking about, or they're the people that are doing this right now.
Okay.
You can have 1 million followers on Instagram right now. And you cannot even obtain 10,000 likes and not even 100 comments. And it's because your followers that you have are either inactive or, pardon my language, bullshit.
Yeah.
And you can make a lot of money off stupid people
by
having a high amount of followers.
Yeah.
Now, what I did for my clientele is when I was new to it, I would find big people, right? Mid-tier to big-tier people. So let's say 100,000 to 500,000, and then 500,000 to 1 million, and then 1 million plus, right? Okay. And I started to learn that when I had clientele putting lump sums of money into investing into advertisements, promo shoutouts with different influencers and pages, sometimes the smaller pages, the mid-tier pages, would actually have a higher return on investments than the top-tier pages, because some of their followers were inactive, or maybe they bought a bunch of followers, like BOT, right? Like they bought themselves a bunch of followers. And I then, because I had one client, and he did sports betting, right? And
who is it?
So his name was Kyle Covers Spreads. Shout out to Kyle. Kyle was a huge. Kyle probably won't see this, but he amazing guy. He owns this page now called Odd Stack. So if you're interested in betting on sports, if he is active, check him out. It's ODDSSTACK, Odd Stack. And what they basically do, it's like a sports better, right? So you pay them for what they're picking, what teams are picking to bet to win the game or win the fight, right? You pay a premium for that. But so I started with him, and this is when I left the gym, right? So I was making $800, I was making $2,000 a month at the gym, and then I went into making $800 a month with Kyle USD, which is about 1,300 Canadian at the time, right? And then he was dumping about, I think we started out with like $5,000 to $7,000 a month on these influencers and pages and stuff. I'd have to take the budget, build it, pitch it to him, and then try to like get the best bang for our buck out of it, the best ROI. But then we learned that like I was saying, that some people we were spending money on, we thought we would have more return on investments. So Kyle, we did great together. He started with about 250, 300 subscribers that were paying him monthly for his picks, and we got him up to over 2,500. Right? And you think that's not that many people, 2,500, but these people were paying like anywhere to like $50 a month to $250 a month. Right? So this guy was making crazy money, and I went from 800 up to he was paying me $6,000 a month by the end of it, right? So this is when money really started just like rolling. It wasn't crazy money,
Is that
I was
Canadian,
still living at
by the way?
home. That was Canadian money.
Yeah.
So I was living at home, so I didn't have too many expenses.
Yeah,
I didn't have a car at the time, anything like that.
Yeah, no, that's
You're
big.
good.
And I was making my
that's big
commissions
money.
on the back end. So I was making my commissions off the people and then off him as well, right? So it was like a double dip, but that's just the industry, right? People say, oh, it's double dipping, it's unethical. That's the industry. You're paying for a service, right?
That's the way it goes.
You want to get as much margin as possible.
Exactly, right? But then when Kyle signed me on, though, when he's paying me monthly, I was giving him like my cost. I wasn't like taking commission. I was just giving him my cost because now he was paying me monthly, right? I was still making money off the influencers, but for him, he was a client now. So he had me on a retainer, right? Yeah. So anyone I have on a retainer ever, any of my clients, they pay my wholesale pricing that I get stuff for. If they're not my client, I obviously upsell them a little bit because I have to make some kind of money. You know, I can't just like, I used to work for free in the industry when I first started out, but then like as
you gained experience.
I gained experience and gained a following and a reputation, you have to make money. But yeah, so from that, I was, I made my Excel spreadsheet list. I was doing that. And
do you mind if I really just quickly interrupt and go back to that? So I like the way you said that. Like you, at some point, you have to make money. Are you someone that would consider themselves materialistic? Like, but where, when you were a kid, were you like, I want a Lamborghini?
Still my dream car till today.
Okay.
Yeah, still my dream car till today.
So you would consider
I'm not.
a big,
Are you
a big
motivated
purchase?
by it?
I'm not. So when I first started making money online, I was definitely motivated by the lifestyle. The cars, the women, the fashion, that kind of stuff. But after time, like I never like made so much money that like I was always buying that kind of stuff. But I got some designer pieces. I bought I bought a 435M. Nothing crazy, but it was like I've kind of was leveling up, right?
Yeah.
And then most recently, I actually sold my Beamer and just bought a very simple car because I just don't want to deal with maintenance anymore. I kind of want like I thought I was about to calm down, to be honest with you. I thought I was about to kind of like I'm coming up on 30. I'm gonna keep making my online money. But that kind of goes into like where I thought I was going to calm down, and I started to take the money I made online from doing the spreadsheet and doing influencer marketing, and then after that, honestly, that's where I got into OnlyFans because I met one big model, and then she introduced me to a variety of other models, and then I started to get into click with them and did really good business with them, bringing them a bunch of different shout out deals, promo deals, and then I find that like, and I always tell this to people whenever I meet them, I start to travel more, or I just talk to them in general about business. I say I'm in this making money online sector, this Wi-Fi money. I'm in this for the long run.
Okay.
A lot of people come into this industry and they go,
want fast money,
I can
quick
get
money.
X. Let's say you get a service from a plug for $1,000, right? And you know that your client can afford and would be willing to pay $5,000.
Yeah.
Now, what do? Do you impress them? And do you get it for $1,500 and make $500?
I deal with this like
or
every day.
Or do you make a quick $4,000 and risk the reputation and the connection between you two to make $4,000? But then maybe it's not going to be a return client, and it's not going to lead to referrals.
For sure.
The one.
If anything, it's a bad.
We actually have this, like, we're business partners, right? So
this happens all the time.
It actually happens to us, and we always like try and like figure out the best way possible, like,
So many times I just find the source.
I know.
I just go around them and go,
sometimes-
oh shit,
so, like, we
okay,
talk
never mind,
about,
it was
like-
800, not 1.5.
We talk about
Now it's an
relationships in
ROI.
business and in your clients, and like how important it is to like have a really like good rapport with them and like like do you want the quick money or do you want to like keep it going? Like we've had situations where like we just didn't hit the target that we wanted to.
Yeah.
And we said like we think it was because of this, and we're going to give you a 10 grand discount on this invoice.
Yeah.
That might be a bad business decision. Some people are like, I would never. I know my value. I'd never.
But it's worth it.
But we did it, and that client has stayed on, and we hit the targets in the end.
To the end of the day,
the discount, and
we'd feel a bit bad. We'd feel a bit bad if we hadn't delivered on something.
Exactly.
And then we're like, oh, by the way, give us like.
We then did hit the targets like a few months later. But like I think she appreciated the discount that
100%.
we gave.
Yeah, I don't think she would have stuck around.
And referrals are everything too.
And referrals are everything.
Like
word of mouth, the old traditional.
She's more than happy now.
It's still till today the strongest form of marketing out there is word of mouth.
Yeah,
right.
We've learned to
or I wouldn't say the strongest, but the more like authentic, genuine. You're guaranteed to get a client.
It's person-to-person interaction.
Yeah,
it's going. You've got a problem. Okay. Oh, I've got someone that can do that. They do it for me. They do it well.
Yeah.
I'm gonna connect you. Right, and there's no sale. There's no sales there. It's that's all done for you.
And when that happens, the person that's referring you to another person, you've helped that person. They're happy with the job, and now you essentially are no longer even selling yourself. Now they're done. Selling you to their friend.
And it's because they trust you, and that person trusts them, but now they trust you, and then they're going to trust, and it's just like a fucking
And depending
network.
on how you do it, like then you can then change the pricing, right? Well, she came with me, or he or she came with me at this price. Unfortunately, I am busy now, and it's now this price.
Yeah.
They're already sold, and you've now just not only got a new client by being really good to that one, you've also upped your sale price.
Yeah.
And I think that's really like
because we started out quite low. We started out quite low. We just built it up. We didn't want to do the opposite and start like way too high.
No, exactly. And then so I getting into where I kind of like pivoted a little bit in my life. Saved a good amount of money. I think COVID sucked, but it worked out great for me, honestly, because everyone was going online then, right? All the money was online. I never got into like Bitcoin or Ethereum or any of that crypto. I never got into like stocks and that thing, or even real estate. Like it was all online for me. Like just really just advertising deals, like all online. Yeah. And I was.
Did you ever do any sales? Like when I say sales, like sales management, things like that.
No, not really. No, just I own my own agency, but it's just me in it.
Yeah,
I love it.
Like, for the books and stuff, it's just me. You know what I mean? And then from there, I saved up a good amount, was making good money at the time. And I decided to move to Toronto. So I wanted to move out of my smaller city into a bigger city. And Toronto, I actually just uploaded a video today. And I was talking in it. I actually deleted it though, because I guess my mouth was off. It was like an old Chinese movie when it's like, what? So Instagram was glitching or something. That's why I was like, I'm going to delete it. I'll upload another thing. But I was talking more so about, you're going to have to, I just lost my train of thought. Where were we at again? So I'm gonna go with where I pivoted. Like I mentioned, where I pivoted in my life, and like I said, I was doing pretty well online, nothing too crazy. Moved to Toronto, bigger city, and it humbled me. It was like if I was more so really just spending the money I saved up to live the lifestyle, to have a nice 2-story loft, everything. But I forgot that you got to keep grinding because the money will run out in a big city.
Kind of
right?
Yeah, what's going on,
right? So I ended up like starting to see a little dent to the account, and I was like, shit, I gotta work again. Like I can't just live off this. It wasn't enough. It wasn't even close to enough. You could just do that, right? I just got comfortable for a bit. And
were you like eating out every night?
Oh, always, man. Going to the dinners, going to the clubs, popping bottles. I had the Beamer. I bought a wakeboard boat. It was living life. It was living life. It was great, right? But I seen a little dent happen to the account, and I was living with my buddy at the time, and I said, man, I gotta go home. I didn't even make it a year in Toronto. 8 months. I spent so much damn money.
Do you regret it?
Not at all. I went back home, and I took the money I had remaining, which is still a good amount, and I said, you know what, I love my city. Mm-hmm. I love my hometown of Peterborough, Ontario. And anyone that knows me I love my city, and I love my high school. Like I'm like old school. I'm like where I was born and raised. I take pride in that, right? And who my friends are, my family, and I wanted to go back, and I wanted to like start to like take the money I was making online, and somehow have an impact in my city. I don't think I remember when the giveaway world was around. when all these celebrities were
Hell
giving away
yeah.
stuff, and they're
Yeah,
saying,
yeah.
"Go follow this page," everyone they follow, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's where a lot of money that came from there as well. Working with, essentially agencies. I was working directly with agencies and people that I knew on a personal basis who were working with teams of, anything from Nicki Minaj and Cardi B to Dan Bilzerian
Nice.
to Lil Uzi to Dirk to Rich the Kid to Floyd Mayweather. Like, you just name it, any giveaway, and I've probably sold
You've
a
been
spot or
involved.
at least a dozen spots to those campaigns.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
that's how at that time people were growing, right? They were going to these giveaways
yeah,
and
for
they were
sure.
growing like
I remember that.
10
I remember
to 70,000 followers within like a week's time.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
It was clever.
It was a clever time. It was a clever time. They're actually starting to slowly come back. Actually,
Yeah, I was just gonna say,
They're starting-
people are still
they're
doing
start-
it.
They're
I've
starting
seen
to
it.
slowly come back a little bit. But yeah, so I pivoted. I went back home, and I'm always big on like, if you look good, you feel good. And I loved always getting my hair cut. And I thought the barbershop industry would be kind of cool to enter. I wasn't gonna cut hair. Maybe I would down the road. But my other buddy back home, he was doing good for himself, and we were talking about maybe opening a business down the road. And like the next day, I'm always just on Realtor, looking at potentially maybe a house to invest into or a business to rent, like a rental space.
It's like your TikTok.
Yeah. So we were gonna kind of just find a place, and we ended up finding this place. It was like $800 Canadian a month plus. So I think it cost us like $1,100 a month to rent, which is insanely good.
So like bills included.
It's everything.
Everything.
It was insane. Oh no, bills included. I think it was about $1,500, but it was insane. Like it was
Yeah,
an
yeah.
insane price for like the main strip downtown in my city. So we just got it, and we had no idea what we wanted to do. We were coming up with the different ideas and stuff, and we were like, "Oh, let's do a barbershop." So we got the barbershop going. It was good for like a year. And what I learned is within brick and mortar is that, specifically with the barbershop, is that, it's funny because my original barbers, they'd be like, good luck, we respect it, but now you're kind of competition. And by the way, it won't last that long because you're not a barber. And to have a successful barbershop, you at least need to be a barber, right? Which is true, but it isn't true. Like it's a little mixed feed. But
I agree.
for us, it was going great. And we had 3 good barbers in there, and a couple ones we had to let go early on, but 3 good ones at one point, and our chairs were almost full.
Were you in there every day managing?
I was for the first 3 months.
Yeah.
When I open a business, I'm there for the first 3 months, and then I kind of like just pop in, make sure everything's going good.
Sure.
But we actually ended up losing our main barber, and then because he was apprenticing one of the other barbers. That barber went with his mentor to another barber shop. And the third barber that was left over was like, I don't want to be the only barber in here. So we had to try to start hiring. But like my barber shop was branded so correctly within like photography and a strong follower growth and, and overall like just like proper like video production of it that like the city never seen before. So like within the first year, we were like the second, and I'm going to quote it right now, we were the second busiest barbershop in the city.
Hell yeah.
We were. And this other place was around for over 20 years. And like within under a year, we were the busiest. So, but because of that, people knew that they got a good haircut.
You had an online following for your barbershop and the others didn't.
Yeah. So what happened? I'll just go quickly and remember to go back to the barbershop. So just remember to go back to the barbershop after this. Sure. But when I mentioned the giveaway world, I actually applied the giveaway structure to my hometown in Peterborough, and our area code for our number, like our phone numbers, is 705, right?
Yeah.
So I did a $705 cash giveaway. This account was at 0 followers, right? $705 cash giveaway. I took a nice professional photo at a very staple point in the city, holding 700 or like 7 $1 bills and a $5 bill, or it might have been 7 $1 bills, and I said, "Do you want a chance to win $700 cash to one lucky winner? All you have to do is just follow this page and share this post." This thing went crazy. Like crazy. Like I actually wonder if I can pull it up quickly.
Yeah.
Do you still have the page?
We can pull it up here as well.
Do you still have the page?
Yeah, I still have the page.
While you're looking at that,
I actually want to log in just so I can
log in, and while you're looking for that, and like it's in my like trainer 4 right now. Like what's really interesting is like you've got the mix between Wi-Fi Money.
Yeah.
Okay. But what Howie's done, he's taken his Wi-Fi money and he's taken it back home, and he's actually gone into brick and mortar. And we've not had a guest so far
That's done that.
they've stuck with the Wi-Fi money. They travel, they go with it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've gone and seen the world, they've networked and all that sort of thing. They've come back to their hometown.
So you guys can pull it up. You guys
Here we
actually
go.
see like there's
Let's
the actual photo.
Joe will pull it up right now.
So there's the actual photo. And the account for a small town got big very quickly. I let it die out after a bit, but it was during COVID, so it was kind of cool time because everyone knew I was doing pretty good online, and a lot of people were wondering what I was doing with like how I was making this money, right? But I gave away the $700, and then I gave away 3 winners of $300, and that built my page up to about 2,000 followers. But those 2,000 followers, when you want to go in deep into insights, if you look at the followers
from that city.
It's all from Peterborough, Lakefield, Lindsay, Keene, and Toronto.
You got to send me those screenshots. That's insane. That's sick.
And then this is like, what do guys like to do? They like to gamble.
Yeah.
He owns a Barbers. His clientele are guys.
So what happened though is with this page, what I did is I gave away this money, and then I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but like this was a really good one. This is kind of like our first giveaway was like $2,500 between cash and prizes. So I went to 50 businesses. Right? And with those, it was 30 businesses. And I think I charged them $300 or $400 a spot. Right? So I made about, let's call it 9-10 grand.
Yeah.
Right? And then I took that 9 or 10 grand and I put it into about $2,500 to $3,000 worth of prizes. And then about $2,000 worth of advertising through other big pages in my city.
Yeah.
Right? That didn't have the concept that I knew was going to work.
Yeah, you already had that catalog. You knew the pattern.
My page started blowing up, right? And the next giveaway, I charged a little bit more. Whereas right here, I gave away $4,000 cash. So I think it's 20 winners of $200, right? And that was right around Christmas time. And this is all during a pandemic where people don't have their jobs. You know, I was helping build. So I was giving back to my city in the sense of helping these businesses build an online presence because they had no online presence really. Didn't need it because COVID wasn't a thing yet. They didn't need it to have.
Everyone's at home.
Exactly.
They need it.
Also, I was giving money back to people that just had to do a couple of simple tasks in a city, right? So back to the barbershop. So what I did is I actually put a bunch of pages in here that I knew down the road if I wanted to build a business that I wanted to have a strong following on. So I have about like 4 other pages locally that have close to 2,000 followers, but they're all 2,000 followers are from my city. Yeah. And that many followers, honestly, is like probably the highest, if not the second or third highest in the whole city within that certain business type, that niche, right?
Yeah.
Sure. So the barbershop, it was going great. We did it for a year. Like I said, we lost our main barber, his apprentice. The other barber didn't want to stick around. So my business partner actually most recently bought me out of that, and he's just going to take it over and just do something else. And I also lost a little bit of passion for it. And like I mentioned to you earlier, I want to be passionate about what I want to do. And if I lose passion for it, I'd rather kind of like, give it away or just like get bought out of something like that. And then at the other time, I had another business partner, and it was my cousin actually, and we went into business together to open a vape shop. Okay. Right. So the thing is, I don't even vape. Right. But I know.
Did your cousin vape?
I have vape.
My cousin does a vape. He was like super big into fitness, and he was boxing at the time and stuff like that. And we opened a vape shop.
Are you
together?
It's probably a dumb question, but are you anti-vape?
I'm not anti-vape. I just don't think it's the best thing for people. We still don't know if it's even worse than smoking.
Yeah, we
don't.
It's
brand new.
I've been vaping all episodes. So.
Yeah, it's all good. Anyway,
if you could tell me it's really healthy, that'd be really.
Yeah,
it's gonna make me like an absolute athlete someday.
No, I throw in the odd upper decker now, but I feel like you're not putting smoke in your lungs though, right?
Yeah,
so that's kind of like you gotta feel a little bit better about yourself.
You gotta put someone in there.
Yeah.
So anyway, you had the vape shop.
So I had the vape shop, and it was crazy because what I would do is everyone knew me from doing these events. Oh, because I did this other thing with entertainment. I would book artists and do like these college shows and stuff like that, and bring in DJs and these robots, and it was crazy, right? And I would basically take Peterborough giveaways that I had there, Peterborough Party Life, and I would combine those pages to promote my other pages as well, right? So right next to my vape shop. So how the vape shop works is that it's downtown, kind of like if you guys have a main street downtown in your city, and my vape shop was in between 2 of the busiest bars in the city. So what I did is I opened at like 7 p.m.
Yeah.
When people are out for dinner, they might need a vape. So people would come to me before the bar, during the bar, which is 10 to 2, or after the bar between 2 and 3. So I was open 7 p.m. to 3 a.m. No other vape shop has ever done that. They all close at like 9, 10, or 11. Right? So I'd have all like the nicotine fiends. Yeah.
There's sorry to interrupt. So in my city in Portsmouth in the UK, it's like relatively small. I think it's similar. It's like 100,000 people, maybe a bit more. I might be wrong. But there's like one strip of bars, right? And there's a cigar shop. The only one in like, I think 20 miles, like at least the decent one. Yeah. And it's only open from like 10 a.m. to about 3 p.m.
Yeah.
And he just doesn't open in the evenings. If he opened in the evenings, he would have people queuing. Genuinely queuing.
Sure. Oh, 100%.
Sure.
And it's between bars, like you said.
Yeah,
between bars.
It's location. Location's everything when it comes to real estate.
For sure,
Yeah.
for sure. It's like it's like Jordan Belfort, love that guy. Supply and demand.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
The people are there. I'm gonna supply
it's
them.
funny you say that term right there because there's times when people come into the shop late at night or just during our hours in general, and they're like, oh, like this brand's a little bit higher than the other place. It's like $2 higher, and I'm like, well, then go buy it from the other place.
Exactly.
And they're like, well, they're closed. I go, I know.
Yeah.
You just answered your own question.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
So do you want strawberry kiwi or you want peach mango?
Yeah, exactly. And do they
You
buy
know,
it?
like,
Yes, they do.
you know,
They do.
There's no yes or no answer.
Yeah,
It's what do you want? The best is when people come in, they're like, what does berry rush taste like? And I'm like, I don't vape really. They're like, you own the shop but you don't vape? I'm like, yeah. So I'm like, so like berry rush, I assume would be like a mix of berries.
Yeah.
Strawberry mango is probably like strawberry mango. I don't think it's strawberry mango. But like whatever it says, it's probably like, hopefully what you guys are hauling on taste what it says.
Yeah.
I mean, this is false advertising. You know?
Sure.
Do you know what I've come to the conclusion of this whole podcast? And you're the first one, actually, that you're a very versatile entrepreneur. It seems like you see an opportunity and you rise above it, you go for it, you make it happen, and then if it runs its course or you see something else that's a bit interesting or it's not interesting to you anymore, you move on. And you go to the next thing. You know what? And you move on. And that's the beauty of Wi-Fi Money because you can do that. There's no office to shut down. There's no, there's not necessarily any employees to fire. You move on. You keep changing, and that
is facts. I'm so happy that I just heard that, like, from anyone, from you, if anyone told me that, like, that is facts. Because sometimes people back home, they hate on me because they're like, oh, we opened a business, it went great, or oh, it didn't go that well, or then all of a sudden you're opening another business. Like, just pick one thing. And one thing important is that sometimes you should just go all in on one thing. But at the same time, it's nice to be a little versatile, different sources of income. They go good, they go good. The thing with I got taught growing up is, you get hit down 7 times, you get up 8. Mm-hmm. Never say die. Like you just keep pushing through, right? So like that's what I
always one above. Always.
Exactly, and that's what I've kind of gotten driven to do. But just to conclude the episode, so I got the vape shop, and then I actually just most recently over the last coming up on 6 months opened my own bar. And that was a big one for me because that's something I was passionate about back when I was in college. Yep. That's what got me into everything kind of a little bit, right?
Yep.
And it went great for the first month and a half because the students were there. And a college demographic is like bars really succeed from September to April, right? In the summertime, they can die down a little bit, right? Okay. So the last I'm going to say the last month or so now, it's been dead. It hasn't been successful, right? So we're trying to basically get by that summertime, that more dead season, to be able to hold on. So when the students are back, we just hammer away, right? Because now we're the newest bar in the city. They've got a little taste of us, but now we're going to really blow it up in September, and that's kind of the goal now. But Wi-Fi Money has been able to allow me to
do that
go up
from
and down
somewhere else.
Success or not success.
You can try. You can always go back to it. You can always go back to it. You can always
and fund it.
Another thing I'll say that I really like about you is that you're still Wi-Fi Money, and like you've worked in your businesses for 2 or 3 months, hard work. You're actually in there working, and then you turn it into Wi-Fi Money.
Yes.
And then you move on and go, okay, I can now manage that from.
He's a brand builder. Yeah. You can just sell anywhere. He's a brand builder. He's just like he's got it.
So it's like the mix of real life and Wi-Fi Money.
Yeah, for sure.
I love it.
And like he says today, he's about to hit 30. Yeah. And he's got his fingers lots of businesses.
Have you got a plan for your birthday?
This year, I was in between going hard or just going really simple. It's either I'm going to be, going somewhere crazy with some close, like the OGs, my boys, or I'm just going to go rent a cottage and just play like a couple rounds of golf, have some cold pints, and just keep it easy.
Do both.
Like, that's really it, right?
Do both.
But at some point, you're going to hit your old age of, maybe 50, 60, okay? And it might be time to retire, settle down. So you've built an empire, let's say, okay? Which we know you will, okay?
That's the hopes.
And you're pretty close to it. You're pretty close to it now. But it's time to retire. You're going to go to, Barbados, Mexico, wherever you want. Chill out. You're going to get a mansion. It's going to be great. Okay, you're a billionaire.
You better mention your sister.
Yeah, and your sister's going to come along.
We got Danny in the room, by the way.
We've got Danny Banks in the room.
Danny Banks.
Danny's a big portion of my success as well within the industry of models and influencers, for
I
sure.
hope she's going to give you a shout out on the Danny Banks episode.
That one will be a little bit more wild than this one.
Yeah, for sure. But you do have to pick your dream CEO to look after your baby. Someone's going to look after your businesses. Like it can be, like I said, friend, family member. It can be a celebrity, dead or alive. It's anyone you want. Who you picking to look after your baby?
100% of the time, blood is thicker than water, and I grew up with that.
Hell yeah.
My brother's taken over, my sister's taken over, and like it doesn't even it doesn't even really matter. Like in the sense of like, I would rather pass that along to them and be like, here guys, either if you sell it, we're cutting everyone in.
Yep.
But if you don't want to sell it, then it's yours.
So you would sell it rather than have somebody run it for you?
If I was at the point of like,
I think we know he's like an exit guy.
if I was
Yeah.
if I was at the
True.
point of like, I mean, I don't need to be a billionaire. You know, if I'm at the point of making tens of millions and you can comfortably live the rest of your life and you can support your family and some of your friends even. I mean, I'd just sell off, cash out, exit, or I'd let my family and friends run it.
I've got a great question to finish this.
Go for it.
Which is, do you want to retire, or do you think that you'll always be jumping to something new? Like if you said today, which I think you have, you know, just get rid of everything and start something new. You're starting something new. You're not just getting rid of everything. So one day, will you?
You know, it's funny because big shout out here, not trying to get their attention, but like, man, like someone I feel like every entrepreneur did at one point in their life really heavily, especially when it's pumping out a bunch of content, was Gary Vee. And Gary Vee really pushes the fact that like you can start anything at any age.
Yeah.
You know, and you see the stuff online where it's like Oprah started at this age or this person started at this age and now they're like billionaires. They're very, very wealthy people.
Yeah.
I think that now that I'm turning 30, you know, in June here, I think that I'm excited. I know I'm excited for it because I'm excited for the 30 to 35 rush to like dial in, zone in, make as much money as possible, and then make different kind of investments from like 35 up to 50.
For sure.
But would I retire? For the people watching, I think anyone that is a part of the whole lifestyle and of Wi-Fi money dies when you die.
Hell yeah.
I don't think I'll ever.
You're always going to be
I don't
online
think I'll
now.
ever stop making money here or there online. Ever.
Yeah.
We're always going to be online.
You know.
I mean,
even if it's us teaching people how to make money online, and we don't need anything out of it. We're just, and that's what actually really what I would like to do and get to a point at is where I can fully really just give back to the community, you know, and I'm nowhere close. Like people will watch this and you got supporters, you got haters, you know, you got people that are just listening and being like, I want to be like these kind of people. But I feel like you just got to go for it.
Yeah.
You know, like if you want to make money online, like this little device right here, like this is the most powerful device in the world to make money.
You can do anything. Like, imagine showing that to a Victorian child.
You know, like
they'd be confused.
this is the most powerful.
They don't even know what math is.
So the answer to conclude, I don't think I'll ever really retire. I think I'll slow down and kick it and like, you know, but like to make an extra like 5-10 grand a month just doing next to nothing online because you worked so hard when you're younger to be able to have a network that you can push some sales and services through. I don't think I'll ever retire. You know, and you even hear everyone in the industry, different industries. It doesn't matter if they're a concrete owner. It doesn't matter if they're a framer. It doesn't matter if they're an electrician or like a Wi-Fi money or whatever you do, a car salesman. You never really like, if you own the company, like you never really want to retire.
Yeah.
You know, either pass it along to family or you sell out or your business partner takes over. But it's just if you're passionate about it, you never retire. And if you're not passionate about it, you usually sell out.
Yeah.
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 You know?
He goes. It's Howie.
True.
He's the brand builder. He's the exit guy. He knows what he wants, and he's a family man, and that's why we love him.
We love it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, man.
Thank you. I gotta say it.
It was great meeting you.
Likewise.
Thank you so much for coming.
Likewise.
Yeah,
So for context, I don't know. I won't speak for Sam. I'm really tired. We did like a skydive today.
We did.
It's been like a really long week. Really tired, and then Howie just showed up.
Shows up, giving the knowledge bombs.
Yeah.
So to honor Howie, you know, he's the giveaway king. He's made some very good Wi-Fi money doing the giveaways.
Yeah.
And
Make good money. I cannot say I was a giveaway king because I gotta give a lot of the credit to people who made me the money in the giveaways.
there
So
you go.
yeah.
He's the giveaway prince. Which is,
I like it. I like it. That's actually a title.
It's
I like it.
perfect for us Brits and our royalty.
Yeah.
But I've never done a giveaway. I've not discussed with the Jack, but we're going to do a giveaway.
Okay.
I've just come up with it. Yeah.
Let's do it.
So
What are we giving away, Sam?
Okay, well, what they got to do? Okay, so if you're listening to this podcast right now, you got to follow Wi-Fi Money Pod, and you got to follow Howie. Howie, what's your app?
So my ad is It's How We Do It. So ITSHOWIEDOIT.
Cool name.
Okay.
So It's How We Do It.
So there's going to be a post. Go over to our Instagram right now. You'll see the post. You'll go straight over to Howie. Follow him.
What are we giving
follow
away?
us, and you give us a little comment on that post. And all you need to say is Howie on the comment.
And if you want a bonus entry, you guys have to share that post to your story and tag the podcast.
Okay, you get double entry for that.
Yeah, double entry for that.
See that he's teaching us already.
So,
to market.
and guys, the prize is a selfie of Sam Bird from Love Island.
No, I'll tell you what. Okay,
Go on.
We'll give away $1,000 just to start.
Okay.
To kick it off with.
Oh,
Okay,
wow.
it's our first
Cool,
giveaway.
cool.
We'll give away $1,000.
Any runner-ups?
No runners up. It's $1,000.
No, just 1K.
You do what we said. Go straight to Wi-Fi Money Pod. You'll see all
Okay.
the instructions.
There we go.
And you can win yourself $1,000.
Fuck yeah.
All right. How about that?
Let's do it.
Perfect.
Love it.
Okay, Wi-Fi Money out.